Hello everyone on Facebook Live, it's Steve Barrett here at PRWeek. We're just about to start our weekly podcast. Really delighted to have Karen van Bergen here from Omnicom PR as our guest this week. Lots going on and lots to talk about. If you've got any comments or you want to ask a question or just say hi, please do post a comment on the stream. We'll try and get to that either during this or we'll answer it afterwards. But we're now about to start actually recording our podcast. As you know, this is a behind-the-scenes broadcast. So, okay. Hello and welcome to the PR Week, PRWeek's regular weekly roundup of everything that matters in the worlds of PR and communications. My name's Steve Barrett. I'm the editor-in-chief of PRWeek. Going to guide you gently through the next 15, maybe 20 minutes of the PR Week podcast, and we're really delighted to have Karen van Bergen here as our special guest. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Steve. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's good
for
to
the
have you.
invitation.
Yeah, good to have you here. Karen's CEO of Omnicom PR Group.
That's correct.
And you've been doing that for 6 months, and I know you've got lots to chat about, so we'll get into that, and then we'll talk about the holding companies as you're here. But also, they've all just, most of them have just reported their results, and surprisingly good, actually. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
No, please don't.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about a big new brief out there for Russia, which is an interesting brief. Who would take that on? We'll talk about that, and an interesting time for them to work on their image. Some would say it certainly needs a bit of polishing up. And we'll talk about health. We've just done our first big health issue with our sister brand, Medical Marketing and Media, and we devoted a whole issue to that, so we'll chat about that. And Vine, it is no more. So do we care? Is that going to change marketing and communications? What about all those Vine stars? We'll talk about that. But Karen, let's get into talking to you. 6 months into the job. Firstly, tell us what is the brief in a couple of sentences. And how's it going? How's the first 6 months been?
Yeah, so the good news is that it's going well. Still very young, but we are seeing some really great momentum. We've been really created to do a couple of things. The first thing is collaboration and give our clients access to a broader pool of talent. We have about 6,100 consultants globally in the Omnicom Public Relations Group in 11 different agencies. When you have that pool of consultants, you can really almost, nobody's perfect, but we can come pretty close when we need to answer client briefs and they want the best talent for very different scopes of work in different places in the world. And what we then do is we take the best people from the different agencies and make a customized team, still one throat to choke, still very easy for the client, and we've been very, very much focusing and very successful with that. The second thing is talent mobility. We want to offer the highly talented people within the Omnicom Public Relations and Public Affairs agencies more career opportunities. I always quote myself, when I was ready for the next move, I was in Fleischmann Hillard. Fleischmann didn't necessarily have the job that I wanted and where I wanted it in New York, and I had the luck, I would say, that I knew a lot of Omnicom people, so that's how I got the Portland Valley opportunity. But if you don't have those connections, you still need to have an opportunity to move to a better position, which may be in a different agency, so we can keep the talent within Omnicom. It also gives us a lot of opportunities for like doing sending talent abroad. You know, one agency may not have an office in a certain area, and we can then work together. And also working together on training and development. So first collaboration for clients and talent. Third is strategic acquisitions. We did our first acquisition with Raven Martin, a global public health public policy agency. It's going really, really well, a great addition to the group. And then the fourth area is innovation, where we can bundle resources to come up with better innovation faster, or where one agency has a great offering, which can be white labeled by others, or when we discover that two or three agencies are working on more or less the same offering, we'll want to bring that together as well.
And you'd worked on the Philips account, hadn't you, at Fleischmann, which was pioneering in a way, because that was bringing the different PR firms together a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was actually the first, I would say, the first successful, and it's still going on and still going strong. So it's really great to see, because it's still a little bit my baby.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that we brought the different PR agencies together, Ketchum, Fleischmann, and then some smaller ones as well, some digital firms. And it's been really servicing the needs of Philips, because Philips, as you remember, wanted to change from a being known as a consumer electronics company to a global leader in health and well-being, where 65% of their revenue was coming from, or was certainly going to be. And you can only do that with a very well-coordinated agency. So that group became the agency of record, and it's been going very well and very strong.
So how much are clients pushing this? Because we're quite familiar with the sort of Team WPP or what's the Nissan team called for the
Nissan United.
Nissan United. So, but that's cross-discipline, isn't it? That's across all the
Yes.
agencies, advertising,
Yeah.
media, PR. How is it different what you're doing, and how much is that being driven by clients saying, look, this is the way we do it?
So I should have said as well that we also are the first point of contact for any further integrated services. For example, like Nissan United, when there's a new client who's coming with a brief to the holding company, McDonald's North America brief as well, they will come to us and say, who are the best agencies, or the best people in some cases. And we will then put together a team that will fit the brief and the needs of the clients the best. So it's more integrated than even only on the PR field. But we have seen a lot of clients, either when they come for those fully integrated briefs to the holding at the holding company level. When the Omnicom Public Relations Group was announced, it was interesting how many either existing or new clients reached out and said, we'd love to talk to you about it. There's also a lot of clients who don't need it, who are super happy with their current teams, because the brands are continuing to be very strong. One of the differences we do, we don't take the people out of the agencies and put them together in a new agency. We keep them, they continue to belong to their individual brands, which is what they've chosen to do. And from that strength on, we have them work together. And sometimes they come together 2 or 3 days a week. Sometimes it's once a week, depends on the scope.
Does it cause any conflict issues? Because one of the reasons some clients choose one agency is so they're not conflicting with another agency that's got a client in the same field.
Yeah, we're very mindful of that. But again, we've got so much choice that it's really, we've been able to work through those conflicts in a way that is more than acceptable for clients and for us. So.
And your agencies are Weissman Hillard, Ketchum, Porto Novelli, Marina Mar, Portland Communications.
Portland.
Now that's now wholly owned by Omnicom.
Yes.
So that's a UK shop.
It's kind of an international shop now,
Yeah.
because they've been doing really, really well in expanding into different regions based on client needs. And so they do reputation management and a fair amount of public affairs as well. And then we have G Plus Public Affairs, we have Mercury Public Affairs, we have Paul Wilmot Fashion Communications, and then we have Ray-Ban Martin and Cone Communications, which is corporate social responsibility and consumer cause marketing, consumer marketing.
Yeah. Okay, so I've also heard that it's freed the bureaucracy up a little bit at Omnicom. That things maybe took a little bit of time to happen, and that if you wanted to, you've already made an acquisition, so those things didn't happen as quickly as some of the CEOs wanted them to, or hiring talent, getting the decision. So you've been able to free up the channels a bit.
Yeah, because my team's sole dedication is to the public relations and public affairs agencies. If you recall, we have I don't even know, about 200 different brands in diversified agency services. You can imagine that when you work with such a wide scale, it's not always possible to give everybody on the spot what they need and want. And we're able to do that faster, and I'm glad that people talk about that positively.
Now, you brought David Gallagher, who's
Yes.
the Ketchum Europe CEO. You brought him into your Omnicom PR fold. Tell me what his role is, but also are you going to build a team out, or is this always going to be a fairly lean and mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a very lean and mean team, because what we also want to do is when we have bigger projects that will be led by one of us, we want to use the existing resources in the agencies, because it's going to be fun for people also to work together on projects that we've decided that are in the interest of all the players. And David, we're super happy with having David on board. He's a true international communications expert. He knows the business like nobody else, and we have a lot of room for growth and in international, in new markets, in expanding in markets where we are already, but where we can maybe grow faster even. So he's going to work with the agencies to make that, and of course with us directly to make that happen. And yeah, it's really great to have him on board.
Yeah, he's a rare American who's actually in the UK, or
he
in Europe.
Is, and he's going to stay there because his role is international. He's also going to be working on the clients, multi-agency clients that are coming from outside of the US. There's a lot of opportunity there as well. So he's going to stay in London, but he's going to be here very much.
So do you miss the day-to-day? Because you're probably used to having a team of walking into an office with a couple of hundred people or more working for you, and now you're based at Omnicom's HQ, so there's a lot of people there, but they're not some. You're a fairly small, concise team, aren't you?
Yeah, we're a small team with a mighty business. We spend a lot of time with the agencies, and I love that. So that's a good kind of replacement for because it is. I mean, I love my job as CEO of Portland Valley, and it was a great job, great team. And now I'm working very closely with the leadership teams of phenomenal agencies, and some of them I knew pretty well, and the others I've gotten to know, and it's really fun to see how they're embracing the collaboration. And when we talk about talent, we just announced, I believe yesterday, Julie Schumacher coming from Ketchum to be the MD for Portland Valley, New York, which is a fantastic first, really at that level opportunity. And I'm very grateful to Ketchum that they facilitated this, and it's been a wonderful example of collaboration on the talent.
Good. So all the agencies are playing nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Good. Now, earlier I forgot to introduce our main man, Frank Washkuch, news editor. Sorry, Frank.
No offense taken. Thanks, Steve.
But let's bring you in. A lot of the holding companies have reported over the last few weeks, and they've been pretty positive, haven't they?
Largely positive.
Is that good news, or are they just against really poor comparables year on year?
Well, it's a mix depending on who you're talking about. If you look at WPP, they were up 5% in the quarter, and actually PR and Public Affairs, which they grouped together into one batch, was their best performing segment in the quarter if you were looking at it by revenue growth. Not always the case, as we know. So that was an interesting quarter for them. Omnicom, as I'm sure you're well aware, was up 4.5% in the quarter, which is better than some of the past few quarters that they've had. Interpublic's PR firms within the CMG group were up mid-single digits, according to Andy Polanski, the Weber Shandwick CEO. And the CMG group overall, which includes some other marketing businesses, some events businesses, they were up about 9%. So a positive quarter overall for the major holding company PR firms. In terms of whether they were up, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think that last year at this time we saw some up and some down, but definitely up year on year overall.
Yeah, because let's be honest, Omnicom had a few quarters with very disappointing increases. How much store should we place in these? I've spoken to CEOs of Omnicom agencies who get very frustrated because they say, well, this isn't actually measuring, the real performance and what we're seeing, and there are other things included, and obviously, you're restricted in what you can say.
Yeah.
How much do you use that as your measurement of success? But on the other hand, you outperformed advertising in that quarter, so that's good.
I think we are part of a publicly quoted company, so we have to deliver results that our shareholders expect from us. And I'm really happy with the results in PR. We're looking at a good, we're looking at good progress going forward as well. It's true, we're in the job, a little over 6 months. So, but I am really pleased with the progress that we're making, and I intend to help the agencies continue to go on that road. Yeah.
Now there were a few setbacks because, like, Porter lost HP, which is a long-standing client of 20 years. GM has not yet given any work on its big reviews to Omnicom firms. How is it going? What's and obviously those things don't immediately show themselves in the results because it takes a while.
No, and every agency has a very good grasp on their client portfolio, and rest assured that the agencies, be it Portland Valley or the ones involved in GM, like Fleischmann, they have been doing a great job in winning a lot of new business, and the ones that we haven't reported yet, we'll definitely be reporting soon. But that's the game. That can happen, and you know, you wouldn't be running a good business if you weren't looking into the what ifs and then prepare for that. And that's definitely done. So I expect there's always impact, but I'm quite convinced that we can offset that.
How much of the PR numbers are driven by activities by PR firms that aren't technically PR in a traditional sense? Like, we've always heard a lot about how Fleischmann, one of their big units during an election year is the media buying unit that does political ad buying. Is that the case across a lot of firms at Omnicom at least, or not so much?
We report what is considered to be accurate in PR. So yeah, and that's you know, we have separate, you know, there's adjacent activities, but the core business is really PR in the widest form.
Okay.
Does the election year make a difference? I mean, GMMB is obviously doing a lot of
Yes
work
and no.
on Hillary, but
Yeah.
you know, that's not going to move those numbers by that much, is it?
And yes and no, because there's opportunities and challenges. Because also in an election year for the public affairs firms, for example, based on doing Washington-based or state public affairs work, it's a year of complete freeze. So there's some great opportunities with the elections themselves, and then there is some challenges in the work on the Hill. So that's, you know.
Yeah.
It's also, and you know, the good news is you know when election year is going to come up, and so you plan with that, you know, also with your new business strategies.
Well, you mentioned the McDonald's pitch, which Wendy Clark, the former Coke marketer, won in DDB.
Yes.
I just get the
Don't
I get the
make that
initials mixed
mistake.
Yeah, and that was a big loss for Publicis, wasn't it? They had that for many years.
And that's what happens in our business.
Yeah,
and it's always sad, you know. Nobody should sort of like.
Because you used to
make fun
work
of
at
that.
McDonald's, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I worked there in 2 stints, together almost for 14 years, and I've always been working with them in one capacity or another after I left from the in-house job.
Yeah, but it's so competitive now, and Wendy went in with this very distinct offer, almost saying, we're ripping up the traditional ways of doing things, and we're only going to charge you if we add value to your business. That's quite a bold way to go in. What do you think of that as a
Yeah, I'm not going to comment. I'm not close enough to that part, but I'm super excited that we won, and particularly because we've won with an integrated team, and it's all around the use of data and real-time marketing, and I think that's the excitement, and the chemistry with the team between McDonald's and the team was great, and so yeah, I mean, of course, as an ex-McDonald's person, I'm incredibly happy about that.
Okay, we'll watch that space, interestingly. Now, one big account out there, which is, creating a bit of a stir, is the Russian government, which is looking to start using Western PR firms again, and is supposed to have between $30 and $50 million a year to spend in that respect. Now, Omnicom, obviously, Ketchum used to do that, and then decided a couple of years ago to move away from that. Firstly, I mean, is that something that an Omnicom firm would go for? And then...
No.
Right. And secondly, I was just going to ask, where do you draw the line in what sort of business you go for? Like,
I think
we were looking at MSL Corvus, they've just signed up with Saudi Arabia. Where do you draw the line now?
I think every firm has to draw their own lines, but I think, what we want to do is we want to work for clients that have shared values, and that gives the opportunity to help them to have a real positive impact. And when that is possible, then there is a great basis for a relationship. And if that is not there, then we're not going to go there. Yeah,
Frank, it's an interesting time for Russia to be trying to improve its image.
Yeah, because they're such a big player in this American election. They claim they're not,
allegedly.
Of course, but even just in the media cycles, I mean, they're mentioned in so many stories about email hackings and polls and all of these things. So
Trump's relationship with Putin.
I would be about to say it's hard to imagine an American firm really jumping at this so quickly, but at the same time, when we think about the Corvus MSL and contract that they just signed last month with Saudi Arabia, that's a very, very touchy subject when you think about it's over a bill that allows American families to sue Saudi Arabia if they were related to 9/11 victims. So who knows, maybe not, maybe somebody will pick it up.
Yeah. And with the Russian work, I mean, obviously when Ketchum did it, it was a very different time.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. You know,
No.
they had the G8 meeting in 2006.
It was very
and
different,
Right.
yeah. It was much more open, much more collaborative.
Putin
Yeah.
was Man of the Year on
Yeah.
Time magazine.
Yeah.
And it just shows how things change very quickly
Yeah.
too. So, but yeah, check out the feature we did on that and the news story, which dug very deeply into it and spoke to the Russian government's press office. And you know, maybe this is a good thing that they're trying to build some bridges, but we'll see how that plays out. Finally, you know, PR gets a bad name, doesn't it? Because firms take on some of this work. I mean, is it? You're surrogates. You're not advocates. So, I mean, and if you thought too much about any client, you might not take any clients.
No, I think I'm an eternal optimist and idealist, but I know there's a lot of companies and organizations and countries out there who really, really want to do their best and then talk about what they're doing and their plans and how they view their position in society with their audiences, and that's what we're there to help for. I think hopefully there's not that many people anymore who think that we're here to talk right what's wrong, because not any self-respecting PR agency is going there, and you know, so I think we can help our clients with, you know, talking authentically and really building true engagement, and that's what we do. That's what we've been doing always. So relevant content has always been what we've been offering.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's talk about health. PRWeek has just launched its first ever health special issue, which we produced with our sister brand, Medical Marketing and Media, including our Health Influencer 50, the inaugural list of 50 health power players. And really that was born from going around talking to firms during the agency report and just really being struck by how much business is now health related in some way. I think Ogilvy said it was 40% plus of their business. Fleischmann, I think it was 20%. Edelman's around 20%. Then you've got firms like Marina Mar, which are heavily skewed to health and other things. So there's so much going on, and we've really dug deep and analysed that in some features and spoken to lots of players. Yeah, it's from drug pricing to the Affordable Care Act to dietary and issues and health-related issues and hospitals and medical devices, etc., etc. How big a part of the Omnicom PR group business do you think health is now, and you know, how has it changed? Because one of the features we've done is looking at millennials and how they access health. It's very different now, isn't it? They want a personal relationship with their providers.
No, I think there's healthcare. Healthcare public relations and public affairs has been big for us for a long time, and we see still enormous opportunity there and growth. There's some shifts. Some of traditional pharma is, and that also goes up and down depending on what's in the pipeline. But like the health systems, the payers, don't forget like the crossover between health and technology, where there's a whole new area opening up. I would even say between wellness, health and technology, aging population, chronic disease, people getting older who really want to stay at home, you know, whole, which is still called 50 plus, which is kind of like being a 50 pluser myself.
I'd love to stay at home.
Can
you fix that for me, Karen?
Well, you have to get ill. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. But you know, when you get older and older, people attach more and more value being able to take care of if they have a chronic disease as much as possible in their environment, but also with personal touch. And technology is enabling a lot of that. So for us, there is a wealth of opportunity, and we see that healthcare has been growing across the board. Sometimes, as I said, it's shift in the players, but and we have amazing people in the agencies. Take Paul George in Porto Novelli, who has been revamping and growing the global healthcare practice for Porto Novelli, and Andy Schwein is the same in Fleischmann. And Marina Mar, you talked about. We've got fantastic Diana Lippman at Marina Mar, who's fantastic. We've got so many great players, not only in the US, but at global level and in market level. And so it's a big focus area for us. And
with Ketchum, you've got IBM as a massive client, and IBM Watson is pointed at health now, isn't it? And we've reflected that on our influence.
Yeah, and they have a great opportunity, and they are a big healthcare player as well. So you can see where that's coming together.
Yeah, that's we're excited about that issue. And we have a new section called Health Matters that will be every month. Alison Kansky, our health correspondent, looks after that. Drug case studies, campaign case studies, and wellness file, which is just an opinion piece about an issue related to health.
We'd be happy to contribute.
We look forward to the pitches. Yeah, definitely. So let's end by talking about Vine. You know, it's funny with new technologies, isn't it? They come and go. Clients have to decide whether to get involved and how much to invest and whether they're going to be tied to a specific platform. And Vine was the flavour of the month. Yeah. And now it's gone. It's going. So Twitter's pulling the plug on Vine. What, from a client counsel point of view, how do you navigate that? Because, you know, there are clients like GE who will try everything. That's in their DNA with, you know, innovation, etc. But sometimes some clients can't afford to try everything, can they? So how do you approach that?
I mean, you have, I'm really happy that they're keeping at least the content of Vine, because that would be really sad if that wouldn't be accessible anymore. But there's you said it. I mean, there's new platforms coming. You know, Instagram is hugely popular. Snapchat. There's just, you know, those change as well with the, and also with the audiences. So you know, if you can try everything, and again, I know GE looks very carefully as well as what they use for what. You have to make sure that you really have the data to know where your audiences are, and then find that best platform for that. And yeah, it's the sad story, but it's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, it is. Frank, what's going to happen to all these Vine stars?
Well, it seems like a lot of them have already moved on, whether full-time or they've just mixed up the bag that they use. You know, a lot of them have found that they could do the same thing, but do it a little bit longer on Instagram. A lot of them moved to Snapchat and things like that. So I think that the ones that we've talked to really have diversified their services, if we could say that, in terms of moving away from being just Vine stars to being more well-rounded social media stars.
Yeah, that's another new feature we've got actually called New Influencer every month. Diana Bradley, our consumer correspondent, looks after that. And that's a good point. I think you don't want to be a YouTube star or a Vine star or a Snapchat star. You need to be an influencer across all media, don't you? And really, you certainly find the ones that suit you best, but that's a salutary lesson, the way that's disappeared. Okay, let's finish by talking about our Hall of Fame, actually. It's where we celebrate the great names in PR. Marina Maher was one of those last year.
Yeah.
So
great choice, Steve.
Yeah, well, you know. We're celebrating David Drogas, actually, former Ketchum CEO this year. So do check that out. It's on December the 5th. It's a really lovely event in the evening at the hotel at the top of town next to Grand Central that's escaping me. Grand Hyatt.
Yes. I was almost going to help you there.
Yeah. But it's a night when everyone really comes together and talks, you know, just celebrates PR.
Yeah.
But it's not like an awards ceremony sometimes. It's a bit competitive, and which is natural. So this is a really lovely evening, so do come join us for that if you can. And also, we're doing our salary survey, which I'm sure you love as a CEO when we do that. All those knocks on the door you get.
All data.
So you've got a couple of days left to take the survey there. So check our website out and click on the link. It only takes a few minutes, but it helps us get the best data for the industry. Karen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Really enjoyed chatting, and we look forward to following your progress at Omnicom and beyond. And
thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. That's all we've got time for.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. Sorry, let's give you an outro. I didn't give you an intro. But that's all we've got time for this week on the PR Week. We'll see you next time on the PR Week.